Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Today's crypto project in focus is Polkadot, which according to its website is on track to deliver the most robust platform for security, scalability, and innovation. Alongside this, we will cover its corresponding crypto, DOT, which is currently ranked 8th on the list of cryptos based on circulating market cap. Before I continue, a summary of what is in store for today's video. A quick recap of the historical price data, what is Polkadot, DOT and its use cases, some relevant news and partnerships, ways to access or store and purchase your DOT, price analyses or two of them focusing on one in particular, and a general market update. And this must be said, none of the information in this video is financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. Going back to the homepage and looking at some of the key features of the project, one of the key selling points of Polkadot is its interoperability. It is one of these cross-chain interoperability platforms alongside Cosmos, Chainlink, and to a certain extent with Cardano. I'll talk more about competition later in the video. Economic and transactional scalability. This is via spreading the transactions across several parallel blockchains. Easy blockchain innovation, so this is done via the Substrate framework. There's further information there. Forkless and future-proof. The project can upgrade itself without hard forks as part of fixing bugs or making upgrades, which is an issue that has plagued other blockchains such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, especially the former with the numerous cryptos bearing its name. Security for everyone. So the chains remain independent in their governance, but united in their security. I'll talk more about the security aspects shortly. User-driven network governance. A sophisticated governance system where all stakeholders have a voice. This ensures Polkadot's development reflects the values of the community and avoids stagnation. There are further details relating to the technology via its GitHub and then documentation. All cryptocurrency projects should have a corresponding white paper, which is a blueprint outlining exactly what the project entails, and we'll cover some information about its native crypto, or generally speaking. It is available as both a technical white paper and light paper. For this video, I'm going to focus on the latter, just touching on a few aspects of this, just to give you a better understanding of what is involved. I've alluded to the improved interoperability and scalability behind the Polkadot project. Touching on three key features relating to the Polkadot architecture, we have the relay chain, which is responsible for the network's security, consensus, and cross-chain interoperability. We have these things called parachains. This features a lot, and I actually found a designated Medium blog piece. This is from Robert Habermeyer. He's one of the founders. So according to this piece, a parachain or parallelizable chain, that's a mouthful, is a simpler form of blockchain which attaches to the security provided by a relay chain rather than providing its own. And the key take-home message here, drawing clear boundaries between parachains means we can execute all of them at once without fear of collision. If we have 10 parachains, we can perform 10 times the work using the same source of security. Definitely a positive start. And with this, it immediately gives the impression that Polkadot is running a secure blockchain in a productive manner, which is definitely critical as part of the future-proofing aspect to the network, because this will become increasingly relevant as more people adopt cryptocurrencies, blockchain tech in general. And back to the light paper, so we have relay chains, parachains, and then bridges. These are special blockchains that allow Polkadot shards to connect and communicate with external networks like Ethereum and Bitcoin, thus helping with cross-chain communications. This light paper also expands on, it says validators, collators, further insight into the governance roles, the DOT token, which we'll speak about shortly. There's an affiliated blockchain project in crypto called Kusama. They refer to it as Polkadot's wild cousin. So it's an early, unaudited, and unrefined release of Polkadot created to test the network's technology and economic incentives in a real-world environment. Essentially a testnet, just like numerous ones for Ethereum. In relation to Ethereum, there are so many sources on the interwebs that constantly refer to Polkadot as this new Ethereum killer. And I use that in inverted commas because I've lost count of the vast number of projects touted as Ethereum killers. I'll give you my input in relation to this claim and whether it actually stacks up later in the video in the price analysis, so stick around for that. Focusing on Polkadot, the consensus algorithm used to help run the network is proof of authority. Now this differs from proof of work for cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Monero, so that involves involves mining. We have proof of stake, which is used by Ethereum, Cardano, Tezos, and others. In the case of Polkadot, they have proof of authority based on this information here. The POA chain is maintained by 6 validators belonging to the Web3 Foundation. So as a side note, that is the main organization spearheading the Polkadot project. The chain will only allow users to claim DOT tokens or submit their intention to validate or nominate. If you scroll down, in a nutshell, eventually they will move from a permissioned proof of authority system or blockchain to a permissionless and fully decentralized proof of staking, or specifically a nominated proof of stake algorithm there. Before moving on to the news and partnerships, I'm going to introduce the DOT tokens. The native cryptocurrency for the project serves 3 distinct purposes: governance over the network, staking, and bonding. So as part of the governance, those who hold DOT tokens, by default, they also act as relay chain participants to help with the running of the network and any related upgrades. Staking, which is one of the buzzwords for cryptocurrencies, especially in 2020, alongside DeFi, it is, for those who aren't familiar with the concept, it's a way of using your crypto to help run the network or keep it secure, and in return, you are rewarded with a small distribution, which you can do on a recurring basis for participating. It's akin to earning interest in a conventional bank account, but with better interest rates. Now, as a side note, for those that are interested in staking or would like more details specifically about this, looking at Polkadot, we have stakingrewards.com. They cover a vast range of cryptos. So as we can see, this will give you all of the relevant details about staking, the anticipated rewards with their corresponding calculator, how to delegate the tokens or to run a validator node, all the details you need to know there. Returning to the DOT token, the third purpose, as I mentioned earlier, by bonding these tokens, it allows you to add new parachains. As old ones are then removed. Moving on to some relevant news, there is this piece from Crypto Slate. Here are some of the big projects in 2021. So after signing off on an action-packed year, Polkadot is gearing up for an even more eventful 2021. We take a look at some of the projects that are set to launch on the blockchain platform this year, as well as a few major updates to the networks in the coming weeks. One of these I will cover is Frontier. This ties in with the interoperability aspect. A screenshot of the related information is available here. However, I'll jump straight to the source. It says Frontier is Substrate's Ethereum compatibility layer. It allows you to run unmodified Ethereum dApps. The goal of this compatibility layer is to be able to run a normal Web3 application via the compatibility layer, be able to import state from Ethereum mainnet. This incorporates the Pallet EVM, which is the Ethereum virtual machine. More info there, but why this is significant, just to put this all into perspective, Ethereum is the largest dApp platform. Out of the various blockchains that exist or that are available, by far and large the most extensive, and according to this website, State of the dApps, it has over 3,000 decentralized apps available with more than 100,000 active users in a 24-hour period. To have this Polkadot aspect up and running and the improved interoperability or this connectivity with Ethereum dApps is definitely a step in the right direction. For those not looking at the screen, some huge names being built on Ethereum. Chainlink, which I alluded to earlier, there's MakerDAO, Uniswap, Aave, a lot of DeFi related content being run there, but nevertheless, it's a huge step in the right direction. I imagine this would only improve over time. So Frontier, or going back to the original article, there is Moonbeam and Akala. I won't cover the whole article, but the key take-home message there is there's a lot of hype pertaining to the project, which is reflected by the major price gains that we've witnessed, especially over the past 24 hours. The next article, once again from Crypto Slate, Polkadot becomes the first blockchain platform to rebrand through a bounty program. Polkadot announced it has hired leading design agency Koto to give the blockchain platform a complete design revamp. However, all the key decisions regarding the rebranding process will be driven and approved by the Polkadot community and its representatives on-chain. Gives a brief spiel about Polkadot. It says here, namely, the company has become the world's first blockchain to put its community in charge of the rebranding. The design overhaul, according to the official Polkadot bounty motion, Koto will leverage the input and insights from the Polkadot community. To make the process more streamlined and efficient, the community will select 4 representatives whose input will be crucial in shaping the design of Polkadot's brand. I won't go through the rest. If I go to the Polka assembly page, it's excellent to see that they've adopted this community-driven approach, and this is a lot more compatible with the whole decentralized mantra. If you have any involvement with this, let me know. I haven't participated much with Polkadot. I only hold a tiny amount of DOT. There is definitely a lot to pay attention to with Polkadot. Moving along to this next article by CoinDesk, one factor behind the growth a couple of weeks ago was this listing on Binance's homepage. It says a $10 million endorsement. Prices for DOT, the native token of Polkadot and its cross-chain protocol for data and asset interoperability, have risen by more than 40% in the last week. This was posted on the 30th of December, after 2 votes of confidence by Binance, the biggest crypto exchange by spot trading volume. An interesting point here, it says DOT really took off, however, on the 28th of December after Twitter users noticed the ETH BUSD or BUSD, so it's the Binance USD pair, on Binance's homepage had been replaced by the DOT BUSD pair, giving DOT a lot more exposure. Having this listed on Binance, it's definitely a great promotion. To have it on the largest crypto exchange, it helps reinforce Polkadot's position as a top 10 crypto. Alongside this, of course, it's not just from one announcement, it's a combination of variables. Just some other news in regards to partnerships, or this piece from AMB Crypto, Plasm Network deploys the first parachain on Polkadot's Rococo V1 testnet. This was from yesterday. Polkadot may soon see its first ever parachain, with Plasm Network announcing today that it had successfully connected to Polkadot's testnet. The testnet is based on the latest version of the parachain consensus, which is the same code that will run on Polkadot and Kusama. According to Polkadot co-founder Robert Habermeyer, and I do quote, "The parachain's V1 codebase is our production-ready code for parachain's consensus, which differs from V0 in the mechanisms by which parachains are included, as well as having a more robust and extensible software architecture," end quote. Again, it's just one of many new partnerships, or that Crypto Slate piece that I spoke about earlier really brings it all home. A lot of this comes down to having these extra partnerships, the better interoperability, greater exposure through major exchanges. It's several of these factors, all on top of a project that is constantly improving. Well, from what I've observed so far, with the recent all-time highs, various news outlets and commentators are expecting some pullback, or this ties in more with the technical analysis. It's not something I really delve into. I can provide some extra information about that if you're interested. There's always a lot of news to cover, but just to keep it brief, moving along to ways to access your DOT tokens safely, the first option is Ledger. If we have a look at the list of supported assets, so Polkadot is not yet supported on Ledger Live. That's their in-house application to have it all managed under the one program. However, they do have the supported wallet, what's Polkadot JS. Now, Trezor is another popular choice. It's the primary hardware wallet that I would recommend, chiefly based on security reasons and the fact it's open source. Despite supporting over 1,600 coins and tokens, Polkadot is not actually listed here. If I try to find the word, the only option it gives me is this XDOT token, which is, I assume it's an obsolete token, or it's definitely not the primary option, actual DOT token itself. I'm still suggesting this nevertheless, because many people have a Trezor or a Ledger, at least one of those two. At some point, especially once Polkadot increases in popularity, you would assume they would provide some software updates to accommodate the DOT tokens. I could be wrong, but it would be silly otherwise to not have that option. But anyway, for brevity, I've come across this Polkadot wiki entry covering the list of supported wallets for DOT. Well, for those not looking at the screen, just a few major ones: Trust Wallet, Crypto.com, Atomic Wallet, Kobo Wallet, Guarda, and several other options. And then Ledger, as I mentioned earlier. So have a look through that and see what works best for you. Now that we've covered the list of wallets to access your DOT tokens, let's go over to my price analysis. For those who are new to my videos, or just to give you a brief explanation of how I reached this hypothetical circulating supply. Before I explain this information, just a quick overview of the relevant price statistics. So its all-time high, it was actually hit earlier today, $11.54, and I imagine this will continue going up in the coming days. the all-time low of $2.79. It's currently at $11 per dot. The circulating market cap of about 10.4 billion US dollars. The present circulating supply is 952 million dot. The total at the moment is 1.03 billion tokens. Now, bearing in mind, this is anticipated to increase. Just touching on the inflation info, because this relates to staking. So if I go to the Polkadot wiki page, under staking, you scroll down and you get to inflation. The take-home info here is there is no maximum number of dot, as in Bitcoin, which is at 21 million coins. Inflation is designed to be 10% in the first year, so this will vary depending on how much is being staked and what treasury decides to take. Now, the focus is the price targets and not inflation, but this is the reason why I have picked the circulating supply of 1.3 billion. Now, without further ado, the first one I have here is $30 per dot. And at the above-mentioned circulating supply, this would involve a $39 billion circulating market cap, assuming this above-mentioned price. However, realistically, before you know it, it would probably be reaching $14, $15 per dot. In the coming days, I envisage this target to be hit before the 1.3 billion figure. For the first two, I've run the numbers at the 1 billion dot circulating supply. So for $30 per token at 1 billion, that would just be $30 billion. At this rate, $30 should be fairly straightforward to reach. A shoo-in, in my opinion, not financial advice, of course. With the increasing interest in the space, these extra partnerships we're seeing, I strongly believe this will happen very soon. I don't give timeframes anymore for various reasons. The next one on the list is $80 per dot, and that would equate to a $104 billion circulating market cap. But once again, assuming that this target will be hit at a lower circulating supply, that would be 80 billion for the 1 billion figure. Anything is possible. It's very difficult to ascertain when or even if we will get to these prices. So I'm just running a couple of scenarios, especially for the first two targets. How likely is this? I'm almost certain in the next market-wide bull run, especially for altcoins, we would most likely get fairly close to this. The momentum and a lot of energy in the space relating to Polkadot, the previous news about major partnerships launching on the Polkadot blockchain would make it very enticing for people to throw some money behind it and most likely to get the price up to $80 per dot. As I alluded to earlier as well, having this listed on more exchanges, on top of having more wallets that can support this, or major wallets, and something that's a lot more user-friendly, all of these things should definitely assist the situation. The next target, this is where we start to get rather ambitious, $200 per dot, a $260 billion circulating market cap. Now, for perspective, if we return to the Coin Paprika website, just to compare it to both Bitcoin and Ethereum, to give you an idea of the amounts of money required or how this compares with current, we have Bitcoin and Ethereum at $714 and $138 billion respectively in their market caps. To reach this, we would need something roughly double of where Ethereum is at present. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but at this point, we would need to see, on top of what I mentioned earlier, many more trading pairs. This whole concept of Polkadot being an Ethereum killer, and I use that in air quotes, if we want that to come to fruition, we would need something that can parallel this thing called the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Just as a quick digression, it reinforces the vast number of organizations that are supporting the alliance. And here is the website. You can check out who is involved around the world. But back to Polkadot. So this greater adoption, more support on exchanges, a vast increase in the number of trading pairs. On top of, well, I'll introduce this for the last price target, $500 per dot. I have a $650 billion circulating market cap. Now here, or even at the $200 range, it's important to introduce the competitors. There are a few that come to mind. There's Cosmos, a well-established crypto project. It has 3 key objectives here on its website: improved scalability, usability, and the last one, interoperability. And it has its proposed solution via the Interblockchain Communication, or IBC protocol, to facilitate this connectivity between different blockchains. So that's one project. There is Cardano, another well-established decentralized crypto in the top 10, and they have interoperability as one of their focuses too. Just to read a line from this Why Cardano page, in terms of interoperability, there are 2 broad groups to discuss. First, interoperability with legacy financial systems, so the non-crypto world, and second, the interoperability with other cryptocurrencies. So again, they could pose a potential threat to Polkadot to a certain degree. The next one, Chainlink, again, to a certain extent, helping link various Oracle networks. Well, it says on their website, connect your smart contract to the outside world. In terms of the whole notion of an Ethereum killer, I think that's somewhat exaggerated. And by that, I mean, I highly doubt there'll be one of these companies or projects to completely dominate the others. There will be at least a handful that will do very well, but in relative terms, I still think each of them will play their role for improved interoperability or to run smart contracts and dApps. I don't see one being a complete Ethereum killer. That's my point. I'm sure many of these that I mentioned will still remain relevant, or perhaps new players could come along. I don't think anyone will rule them all, so to speak. However, I came across this Medium piece via Lucas Wiesflecker. It's titled Polkadot is the new Ethereum killer, and this was made last month. I encourage you to go through it. You can reach your own conclusions about whether this is actually the case. A couple of key points from this. And this point relates to commentary from Dan Moorhead, who is the CEO of Pantera Capital. So at the time of making this, Polkadot is only traded at 10% of Ethereum's value. And our theory is that it has a much higher probability than 10% to be a competitor of Ethereum. This also refers to the increasing amount of development activity on Polkadot and Cosmos as well. I won't, just for brevity, I won't expand on this, or just some further reading so that you can gauge whether this is actually true or not. Returning to DOT, this is a staggering amount of money involved. I can't say if we will get there, and I certainly cannot say when we will reach this figure. It is plausible. From my research, it seems to have a very robust and future-proof design based on its features and objectives. I see this lasting for a while. Again, you be the judge. What are your thoughts as we go through this? Anyhow, the second price analysis, and as I said, I'll just be skimming through this. In the past, one of you recommended that I do an analysis that compares the crypto in focus to another cryptocurrency with, say, Bitcoin. So that's what I've done here. There is still fiat involved nevertheless, but for those not looking at the screen, if you imagine, say if you buy $200 or $500 worth of DOT, how many DOT you can purchase at present, what is their current Bitcoin value, and the potential future value at certain price points. All the information's there on the screen. That's a wrap for the price analysis. Now, finishing the video with the latest market update, and this is courtesy of Coin Paprika, the time and date. For those listening in future, it is currently 12:20 p.m. UTC on Sunday, the 17th of January 2021. Just looking at the top cryptos for this video, especially their performance over the past 7 days. Well, generally speaking, it's a mixture of red and green. Predominantly red after a huge run up last week or the before for most cryptos. Bitcoin is at $35,330. It's down 11% for the week, but still significantly high from where it was a month ago. Ethereum, $1,216. It's also down slightly. Polkadot, though, the star of the show, it's done incredibly well this week. It is, as we can see, as we've seen through the video, over the past few days, the price has shot up considerably. $17.21, and it's up nearly 83% for the past 7 days. XRP still in the high 20s there. Cardano has also been performing consistently well. It's at 37 cents per ADA. Chainlink's at a new all-time high. A few days ago this was, and that's $20.44 at the moment. Stellar nearly 30 cents again. I will say as well, so Cosmos is doing very well too. So from what I've noticed, a lot of these cross-chain compatibility platforms have all done fairly well. Aave too. Some of these DeFi projects are also performing very nicely. Kusama's on the cusp of hitting $100, so it's benefited from the Polkadot news, or the major rise in Polkadot as well. The last mention for this is Zcash, 30% up for the past 7 days. So let's see how the crypto market performs, or how things pan out in the coming weeks. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date with my latest content. If you have something to say, or you just want to say g'day, by all means leave your feedback in the comments section. I hope you're all doing well. Talk to you shortly. Thanks for tuning in, and see you later.